Single-player games have a unique charm, managing to captivate us with immersive worlds, unforgettable stories, and mechanics that keep us hooked from beginning to end. Amid so many options, some experiences stand out for their depth, innovation, and the way they fully engage players. Whether exploring fantastic realms, facing terrifying threats, or living through emotional narratives, these titles offer journeys that go far beyond entertainment. Today's selection brings together 20 single-player games that are worth playing, whether for the quality of their stories, the impact of their mechanics, or their memorable settings. From epic RPGs and thrilling adventures to intense challenges, each of them offers something unique. From moments of pure action to times of contemplation, each game on this list delivers an adventure that could easily become one of your favorites. I'm Jax, and if you're new here, welcome to the Play Hunters channel. I bring daily content to make sure you don't miss any details from the world of games. If you could subscribe to help me grow, I'd be really happy. From one gamer to another. Kicking off the list, Dead Space 2 is one of the most intense horror and sci-fi games ever created. The story takes place 3 years after the traumatic events of the first game. The nightmare repeats itself on a massive space station orbiting Saturn, where something terrible has happened. With fragmented memories and disturbing visions, the journey becomes a desperate fight for survival and to understand what led to this new outbreak. The game's atmosphere is suffocating, taking psychological horror to a new level. Dark corridors, distant sounds, and the constant feeling that something could attack at any moment make each step a moment of pure suspense. Combat remains brutal, requiring precision and strategy to dismember the threats in the most efficient way possible. Beyond the immersive horror, the detailed setting and engaging narrative make the space station feel like a living organism, full of dark secrets. The game expands on everything that made the first title memorable, adding new mechanics and challenges that test your nerves from start to finish. In second place, Tunic is a charming adventure full of mystery and challenges, set in a vibrant world full of secrets. You control a small fox, beginning the journey in unknown ruins, without weapons or explanations. The game focuses on exploration and discovery, encouraging careful observation of the environment to uncover hidden paths, powerful items, and answers to the mysteries of this realm. Combat requires strategy and mastery of the mechanics, combining dodges, blocks, and precise attacks to overcome enemies with varying styles. One of the game's most unique aspects is reconstructing the instruction manual, a book filled with maps, tips, and hidden secrets. Finding all the pages can completely change the way the world is understood. With a mix of challenges and mystery, the game balances nostalgia and innovation, evoking the feeling of exploring a forgotten classic. In third place, A Plague Tale: Requiem expands the journey of escape and survival in a brutal world. After seeing their home destroyed, the protagonists head south, seeking a fresh start in a land full of life. The apparent tranquility doesn't last long, and a new threat arises as supernatural forces awaken once more. The path leads them to an island shrouded in prophecies, where the key to stopping the cycle of destruction may lie. The dark atmosphere continues to be one of the standout features, with beautiful landscapes contrasting with the impending horror. The danger manifests not only in human enemies, but also in the overwhelming threat of the ravenous rats, who return with full force. Survival depends on the smart use of weapons, tools, and special abilities, creating different approaches for each encounter. The narrative is filled with emotion, exploring the sacrifices necessary to protect those who matter. The balance between stealth action and direct combat allows each situation to be resolved in different ways, adding dynamism to the progression. Expanding on the previously established universe makes this story even more compelling, deepening the connection with its characters and challenges. In fourth place, Chants of Sennaar stands out as a puzzle and adventure game with a unique approach. Inspired by the myth of Babel, the game puts you in the role of a traveler who navigates a colossal tower, inhabited by people who can no longer communicate. Separated by cultural and linguistic barriers, these groups live in isolation, and it's up to the protagonist to decipher their languages and restore communication between them. Each symbol translated opens the way to new discoveries, creating an engaging cycle of learning and exploration. The core mechanic revolves around observing and interpreting forgotten languages. With a notebook always at hand, it's necessary to note symbols, identify patterns, and understand meanings through dialogues and interactions. The game impresses with an art style inspired by European comics, creating vibrant and distinct environments in each level of the tower. The combination of symbolic storytelling, intelligent challenges, and a visually striking world makes this a memorable adventure, offering an experience that goes beyond the conventional. In fifth place, Signalis presents a psychological survival horror that delves into a dystopian and unsettling universe. The story unfolds in a future where a totalitarian regime dominates the solar system, using humanoid androids known as replicas to maintain control. In this oppressive setting, one of these units awakens alone on a destroyed ship, stranded on a hostile frozen planet. Its only option is to explore abandoned facilities and unravel the mysteries surrounding its capture. The game's atmosphere focuses on cosmic horror, blending elements of science fiction with a strong sense of isolation and fragility. Each environment reveals fragments of a story marked by lost identities, fragmented memories, and the fear of the unknown. Horrific creatures lurk in the dark corridors, making resource management essential for survival. The artistic direction is inspired by brutalism, with environments evoking a sense of abandonment and technological decay. Between challenging puzzles, strategic combat, and a symbolically rich narrative, the game creates a fascinating nightmare. The fusion of psychological horror and science fiction makes this journey as disturbing as it is hypnotizing. In sixth place, No Rest for the Wicked is an action RPG set in a kingdom plunged into chaos. After the king's death, the power passes to an inexperienced heir, while a plague forgotten for centuries resurges, spreading corruption and transforming everything around it. At the heart of this conflict, a sacred group of warriors is tasked with containing the threat, but the mission quickly becomes more complex. In addition to fighting terrifying creatures, every decision made can influence the balance of power between factions vying for control of the land. Combat requires precision and strategy, with brutal battles against various enemies. Enchanted weapons and rare armor can be forged to enhance abilities, allowing for different combat approaches. The setting goes beyond war, introducing moments of calm in the city, where you can interact with inhabitants, restore villages, and develop new activities. Regions marked by ruins, dense forests, and decaying villages make up the territory, each with its own history and challenges. Between intense fights and political intrigue, each step in the progress brings the characters closer to the secrets of the plague and the conflicts ravaging the island. In seventh place, Death's Door turns the task of reaping souls into an adventure full of challenges and mysteries. The protagonist, tasked with collecting spirits of the dead, sees their routine drastically change when a designated soul is stolen. To retrieve it, they must cross a realm where death has lost its power and powerful creatures have ruled for too long. Each step reveals ancient secrets and eccentric characters, while the path becomes filled with dangers and unexpected discoveries. Combat requires precision, combining melee attacks, magic, and long-range shots to overcome beasts and demigods. Between intense confrontations and moments of exploration, the world gradually reveals itself, bringing hidden stories and surprises with each new area visited. The setting blends the melancholic and the fantastical, with desolate environments contrasting with the peculiar life of its inhabitants. Beyond battles with imposing figures, there's a dark plot involving the flow of souls and the mysteries behind the enigmatic gates. As the quest advances, unsettling truths begin to emerge, connecting the past and present in an engaging narrative. Between mystery and action, the journey unfolds with memorable challenges and a unique atmosphere. In 8th place, Everspace 2 is a space shooter that puts you in command of a ship amid frantic battles and intergalactic exploration. The story unfolds in the demilitarized zone of Cluster 34, a territory ravaged by conflict, where rival factions vie for power and unexpected dangers lurk around every corner. Between intense chases, encounters with alien species, and hunts for valuable loot, each mission becomes a new opportunity to expand your fleet and enhance your piloting skills. Combat stands out for its speed and variety of available weaponry. From light fighters to heavy bombers, each ship can be equipped with special weapons, advanced devices, and strategic modifications to adapt to different challenges. The environment isn't just a backdrop, but an essential part of the battle, allowing asteroids, wreckage, and nebulae to be used tactically to escape ambushes or surprise enemies. Beyond the main missions, there's a vast universe to explore, with over 100 unique locations spread across 7-star systems. After the campaign, high-risk challenges continue to test the most skilled pilots, offering rare equipment and even more intense battles. In 9th place, Elden Ring is an action RPG that takes you on a journey through the vast and somber lands between. This world, now in ruins, is filled with colossal creatures, forgotten places, and mysterious forces that shape the destiny of those who venture through it. Each region connects seamlessly, alternating between open fields and dungeons full of danger. Facing opponents requires strategy and precision, whether in duels against legendary warriors or confrontations with monstrous creatures. The narrative unfolds in a fragmented way, with stories hidden in every ruin and secrets waiting to be uncovered. With a dense atmosphere and constant challenges, every new discovery contributes to understanding this enigmatic world and the events that led to its current state. In 10th place, God of War reinvents the journey of a warrior marked by a violent past. Now living in lands dominated by the Norse gods, he tries to break away from the cycle of destruction that defined him for so long. The challenge isn't just to survive in an unforgiving world, but also to teach his son to walk a different path. Their relationship evolves throughout the journey, creating a bond that strengthens in the face of the dangers that arise. The setting shifts from the grand structures of Olympus to snow-covered mountains, dense forests, and hidden caves filled with secrets and creatures from Norse folklore. The battles maintain the brutal impact characteristic of the series, but now with a more tactical and immersive approach. The close camera perspective makes each blow feel visceral, while the combination of abilities and weapons creates new combat possibilities. Facing the emerging threats requires not just strength, but strategy and adaptability. The journey is built with moments of tension, significant discoveries, and a complex father-son relationship in a world where every choice may mean the difference between life and death. In 11th place, Mortal Shell is an action RPG set in a collapsing world where humanity is on the brink of extinction. Amid forgotten temples and ruins consumed by time, strange cults and grotesque beings follow their beliefs in the chaos. In this setting, an identity-less warrior awakens, seeking to understand his existence and the role he must play in this hostile environment. The past is buried among the rubble, and finding answers means crossing territories infested with ruthless enemies ready to eliminate any intruder. Combat demands patience and precision, where every move needs to be calculated. Incorrect strikes can be fatal, making it essential to wait for the right moment to attack and defend. In addition to enhancing skills and enchanting weapons, the journey allows taking control of the shells, bodies of ancient warriors that grant different fighting styles. As the connection with these entities grows, new talents can be harnessed, expanding the possibilities in battles against deformed creatures and fanatical worshippers of unknown deities. Amid indescribable horrors, hidden secrets may reveal truths about the decay of this place and the reason behind the protagonist's existence. Each new territory explores fragments of a lost story, turning the journey into a quest for both survival and understanding. The deeper one goes, the clearer it becomes that the warrior's fate is intertwined with the shadows that dominate this forgotten realm. In 12th place, The Witcher 3 immerses you in a world devastated by war and overrun by dark forces. Kingdoms are at war, creatures lurk in forests and swamps, and ancient prophecies begin to come true. Amid this chaos, an unrelenting hunt unfolds, taking you through lands marked by blood and magic. The open world is alive and unpredictable, with villages ravaged by conflicts, forgotten ruins, and cities where corruption mingles with power. Between investigating mystical beings, striking deals with influential figures, and engaging in brutal battles against monsters, every new mission uncovers more about this land full of stories. Morality becomes a heavy burden, as choices are never simple and always carry lasting consequences. Combat requires strategy and adaptability, combining upgradable blades, magical signs, and alchemical potions to face both human and supernatural threats. But not everything revolves around fighting. Card games, horse racing, and moments of rest break the tension before the next big decision. Between wars, monsters, and prophecies, the only certainty is that this journey leaves no room for indecision. In 13th place, The Artful Escape is a psychedelic journey that blends music, identity, and interdimensional exploration. On the eve of his first performance, a young guitarist finds himself weighed down by the legacy of a folk icon, struggling to find his own voice. To escape this shadow, he plunges into a surreal universe where reality turns into a visual and sonic spectacle. Between stolen opera houses and vibrant alien landscapes, every step becomes part of a cosmic symphony. The journey traverses dimensions filled with eccentric characters and creatures that defy logic. The stage extends beyond traditional performances as guitar solos open new paths and transform entire environments. The movement through the multiverse becomes a dance between sound and image. The landscape responds to every note played, creating an audio-visual spectacle that blends rhythm and exploration. Floating between constellations, sliding along light trails, and defying the laws of physics are part of discovering a unique style. In the midst of this cosmic delirium, the search for the meaning of art and personal expression intertwines with a visually stunning journey full of unforgettable moments. In 14th place, Star Wars Jedi. Survivor is a sequel that deepens the journey of one of the last surviving Jedi Knights. The story picks up 5 years after the previous events, during a time when the Empire expands its dominion and the shadows of the galaxy become even more oppressive. Forced to hide and face constant threats, the protagonist fights to keep the Jedi Order's legacy alive while seeking a way to resist the Imperial advance. The challenges intensify as new enemies emerge, testing all the skills developed up to this point. Unknown planets and iconic locations from the franchise serve as the backdrop for confrontations that require mastery of combat and intelligence to overcome adversity. The relentless pursuit of the Empire forces difficult decisions, while allies and enemies reveal themselves throughout the journey. Every advancement brings new discoveries, expanding the understanding of the remaining secrets of the Ancient Order. The galaxy, marked by conflict and destruction, presents both dangers and opportunities. Between forgotten ruins and enemy outposts, the balance between survival and resistance defines the course of this journey. Amidst chases, intense battles, and plot twists, the struggle to keep the flame of hope alive becomes more challenging with every step. In 15th place, Hogwarts Legacy is an open-world action RPG that takes you directly into the wizarding world long before known events. The story takes place in the 19th century, putting a student in the middle of ancient secrets that could change the fate of the entire magical community. Between classes, duels, and magical creatures, every decision influences the path taken both inside and outside Hogwarts. The school becomes the starting point for exploring mysterious forests, magical villages, and hidden passages full of puzzles. Learning spells and potions evolves throughout the journey, allowing players to master powerful skills and customize different styles of magic. Besides academic challenges, dark forces threaten the stability of the wizarding world, making battles against enemies and wild creatures inevitable. The freedom to shape your own story is one of the standout features. Choosing allies, developing talents, and facing threats mold the identity of the wizard in formation. Between secret missions and unexpected discoveries, each new experience contributes to building a legacy within this fascinating universe. In 16th place, Atomic Heart transports you to an alternate reality where technology has evolved rapidly, creating a seemingly utopian world. The harmony between humans and robots seemed unbreakable until an unexpected event triggered chaos. Lethal machines and mutants created by secret experiments turned against their creators, transforming a technological paradise into a nightmare. Advancing through the scientific facility reveals dark secrets behind this collapse, while unpredictable enemies appear at every step. Combat is intense and requires constant adaptation, combining conventional weapon attacks with unique abilities granted by an experimental glove. Each confrontation becomes a strategic battle, where exploring the environment and upgrading equipment make the difference between survival and death. The world's aesthetic balances between the spectacular and the insane, with environments that mix grand architectural designs with futuristic horror. Between decaying laboratories and hallways filled with threats, the journey leaves no room for hesitation. The collapse of this perfect society reveals uncomfortable truths as the fight to restore control becomes increasingly brutal. In 17th place, Metro Exodus is a first-person shooter that takes you to a Russia devastated by nuclear war. 25 years after the catastrophe, survivors still resist in the tunnels of Moscow's metro, facing radiation, mutant creatures, and brutal faction conflicts. The hope of a new beginning leads a group of patrolmen to leave the underground and embark on a dangerous journey eastward, crossing hostile lands in search of a new home. The path out of the ruins reveals a vast and unpredictable world, where survival requires caution and strategy. Non-linear maps provide freedom to explore abandoned cities, frozen forests, and radioactive deserts, each environment bringing its own challenges. Resources are scarce, and crafting equipment with whatever is available becomes essential to keep moving forward. Every passing day brings dynamic changes in the weather and light cycle, making the journey even more unpredictable. The threats come not only from mutants and deformed beasts, but also from other survivors who will do anything to protect their territories. Combat blends intense action and stealth, allowing varied approaches to deal with enemies. The modified train journey becomes a refuge between the dangers, but not all who begin the journey will make it to the end. The choices made along the way determine the fate of each companion, leaving marks on the story and the ruins of this destroyed world. In 18th place, Shadow of the Colossus is a solitary journey through a forgotten land, where vastness and silence become as imposing as the challenges themselves. The path stretches across open fields, isolated mountains, and ruined temples, a beautiful and desolate world, where every step echoes in the void. The goal is clear, but the weight of the mission grows with each Colossus defeated, leaving behind not just a fallen enemy, but also an ever-deepening silence. The battles against the Colossi are moments of pure grandeur. Each one is a living mountain, imposing and threatening, requiring more than just strength to defeat. Finding the way to their vulnerable points becomes as intense a challenge as the battle itself. Climbing on their backs, resisting their violent movements, and finally landing the decisive blow turns each fight into an epic and solitary confrontation, where victory is accompanied by a difficult-to-define feeling. Between each battle, silence returns. Crossing the vast world to the next destination brings a sense of contemplation, as if the environment itself is waiting for something. There are no cities, no voices, only the sound of wind and the hooves of the horse cutting through the vastness. Solitude has never been so profound, and each new step reinforces that this mission comes at a cost, something that only becomes more evident as the end approaches. In 19th place, the Callisto Protocol is a survival horror game that strongly resembles Dead Space, but stands on its own in terms of enjoyment. Amid the oppressive darkness of a prison located on Jupiter's moon, something has gone terribly wrong. Inmates begin transforming into grotesque creatures, and what was once a place of confinement becomes a hellish labyrinth where the only option is to fight for survival. Each dark corridor hides something lurking, and the sense of isolation makes the experience even more suffocating. Combat is visceral and unforgiving, requiring a mix of physical attacks and gunfire in tight spaces. Improvised weapons, a gravity device, and the environment itself can be used to face enemies that grow more aggressive and unpredictable with each encounter. The design of the monsters and the brutality of the confrontations amplify the sense of vulnerability, where one mistake can be fatal. The environment follows the same line, with blood-stained corridors, malfunctioning systems, and the constant sound of something moving in the dark. Beyond survival, there are mysteries hidden within the prison and the depths of Callisto itself. As the path opens, ancient secrets come to light, showing that the horrors go far beyond what can be seen. The feeling of claustrophobia, the rising tension, and moments of absolute silence make the journey intense from start to finish. Even with clear inspirations, the game stands as its own experience, offering just the right mix of tension and action for those looking for unrelenting horror. Next, we have The Last Campfire, a melancholic and charming adventure about a small ember lost in a mysterious world. The path ahead is uncertain, filled with challenges and secrets hidden among dark forests and forgotten ruins. The search for meaning in a home guides every step, while encounters with enigmatic beings and fragments of a distant past help fill the gaps in this silent journey. The atmosphere blends solitude and hope, creating a balance between calm moments of contemplation and the restlessness of the mysteries surrounding the territory. Between puzzles and unknown paths, each discovery brings a new fragment of this story, slowly guiding towards something greater. The world around feels alive, but also marked by a peculiar emptiness, as if waiting to be awakened. The journey boils down to a simple yet profound goal: lighting the last campfire. Between small gestures and grand challenges, the flame carried represents more than just a point of light, making each step forward meaningful. The delicacy of the narrative and the reflective tone turn this adventure into something that goes beyond exploration, creating an engaging, subtle, and meaningful experience. And tell me, which of these games have you had the chance to play? Did any spark your curiosity, and would you add them to your list of next games? We'd love to know which one caught your attention the most. Share in the comments any game that should definitely be on the list, but didn't make it. If you can, please subscribe to the channel to help me grow and never be unsure of what to play again. I'm leaving 2 videos in the card, one I personally selected for you, and another the YouTube algorithm picked. Just click one of the 2 to watch. A big hug, happy gaming, and see you tomorrow.